What is there to say about a country that is more concerned about the profit of a body than its well-being? What is Black America to do when our bodies have always been looked at for profit and not a prosperous life? When the economy of our country breathes on the air taken from Black bodies and the system squeezes out every last drop. One that renames slavery as prison labor, uses propaganda to make crime a Black characteristic to justify a statistic like Black men being 6% of the US population but almost half of the prisoners. The myth of Black criminality convinced someone that Kalief Browder was the Black body that stole his backpack weeks earlier. Kalief's innocence was drowned out by the darkness of his skin, paired with a prior association to the system. The bail that his family had to stretch their hands to the heavens to receive was denied as soon as they made ends meet. And the cost of being a 16-year-old poor Black boy in this situation was 3 years in Rikers Island without trial. I refuse to believe that it was just all because of a backpack. One that the witness didn't care enough to stick around to prove was stolen by Kalief. A 911 call that the cops didn't care enough to record when it was reported. Yet they pushed 13 plea deals to sell his body for prison profit, just like over 90% of most cases that come through trying to go home in the exchange of a felony if it's faster. Kalief.
To the maximum degree of our ability. We never initiate any violence upon anyone, but if anyone attacks us, we reserve the right to defend ourselves. So to accuse us of being violent is like accusing a man who is being lynched, who is being hung on a tree, simply because he struggles vigorously against his lyncher. The victim is accused of violence, but the lyncher is never accused of violence. And I only point this out because the various racist groups that are set up in this country by whites and who have actually practiced violence against Blacks for 400 years are never associated or identified or made synonymous with the term violent.
Kalief. With a strong will they promised to break, was dragged through the fire and back through endless fights with inmates and guards, topped off with over 2 years of solitary confinement when more than 15 days is considered torturous. He tried to leave this earth over 6 times on that island. And like some curse from the gods, he would go through the suffering and be freed back to damnation, beaten, for trying to escape hell, thrown back to face the darkness of 4 cold walls closer than a walk-in closet where no flesh can run. The guards had no idea of the trauma he faced. They saw his attempts as manipulation, as attention-seeking, while the prosecutors are looking for loopholes to tie the noose tighter. A teenager force-fed demons from so many people infected by this dis-ease. I'm sure he suffered from lack of oxygen the way he held his breath for every court date only for it to be postponed 30 times. Over 1,000 days after his arrest, all charges were dropped with no trial or conviction. They finally let him go at 2 a.m. with nothing but a Metro card and the dark spirits now stitched into his consciousness. There was no apology or concern, no therapy or compassion, just released to the ghetto like an animal to the wild. Brought back to his family fragmented, unrecognizable, feeling like his life was just played with and robbed of his childhood. He dedicated his time to healing and school while simultaneously telling his story, which moved mountains, but couldn't remove the damage from his mind and spirit, from his flesh and the demons leached on it that he eventually was no longer able to bear. Ivy now grows over the window where he claimed his life. He made an effort to check on his family one last time before leaving. His mother packed up and carried his purpose to make the justice system acknowledge its faults and admit they murdered her son through the inhumane treatment they put him through. With a bad heart, she too died carrying this torch. One now contingent upon the hearts of the people that empathize with his experience. It is in the hands of the artists and activists that will not stand for human beings to be treated with such malice from a system sworn to protect and rehabilitate. A black writer is a combination of many ancestors past, with stories yet to tell. Kalief Browder is my ancestor. I cried the tears that he left behind. He went through hell for this poem, for his documentary, his story, his purpose of sparking a change.